Hey, this is Jody Roundhouse. Week 15 of quarantine, day 35, however you want to compute, whatever. It's not very sunny where I live, so I'm vitamin D deficient. And the past 2 days have been particularly bad in terms of weather. And also now that we're in the times of the coronavirus, you can't really go out too much. So, doctor told me a while back, Dr. Levy, I pray he's doing awesome, him and his. He said, look, take your freaking shirt off and go outside and sit in the sun for 20 minutes without sunglasses. Don't stare at the sun. Just do like what I'm doing right here for 20 minutes without sunglasses, and you will get more than enough vitamin D. And I'm deficient. You know, I blood work. I'm consistently deficient because I'm like a hermit. I stay inside anyhow. This quarantine crap's not really bothering me too much. I'm just trying to get healthier in general, you know. Thank you, Lord. And but what I'll do is I'll do that. My eyes are shut at that point. I'm not gonna have my eyes open and stare directly into the sun. That's what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stare directly into the sun, obviously. So Dr. Levy is not recommending that. Just like this, sit like this for 20 minutes, and think of it. It's boring. I've been out here for almost 20 minutes, and I'm bored. So I pulled this out, and sorry for my shaky hands, whatever. Sorry, roll. So when I do the full back like that, to try to get the blonde streaks going in my beard, because I'm like pretty much like pure Nordic, you know, pure Scandinavian lineage in terms of my DNA. 2 different DNA tests from 2 different companies back it up. And then when I look at the regions, it's clear that I came straight out of the Viking lands, and they settled. They went around the northern part of England and settled. They went around the north and then settled up in the northeast section. I think Manchester nowadays. That I have a huge concentration of DNA there, and I did some studies into it and stuff. That was the age of the Viking conquests. And then also I have people from Normandy. I'm like pure Viking. Did you see that? Now the reason I have the hat on though at all is because my hair will turn blonde too. That's what it looks like. It's dark brown, or it's like a light brown. You know what I mean? But if I were to do this, see, back when I used to do sunbathing a lot, a number of years back, I wouldn't wear a hat, and so my hair started to turn blonde, and the cheese, aka I'm sorry I got fat, minds.com. What's up, bud? He was like, you Nordic bastard, your hair's turning blonde. And I was like, what? And he's like, you Scandinavian bastard, your hair's turning blonde just from being in the sun. He is pretty much a ginger Slav. So if he stands in the sun like this, he probably there's a 20% chance he'll end up in like a walk-in clinic for sunburn. But anyhow, excuse me. I lost my train of thought. Again, I am used to being alone a lot and inside a lot, just because this is type of person I am, I guess. But it's funny watching other people watching TV commercials where it's like we all gotta stay together, mental health in these trying times. Go to this website and talk to a counselor, and I'm like, that's funny as shit. They should have had these services available back when I needed them, when I couldn't leave the house at all. They want people like me dead. Anybody who has some kind of an illness or a dysfunction or an organ or some kind of deficiency, and they have to take care of you. When you pay money into the system, and they have to use that money that you gave to them to dole it back to you slowly to take care of you and help you go to the doctor and stuff. They want you dead, really. That's why the pharmaceutical companies don't make anything that cures. They only make things that assuage, that they cover up, and that cause addiction, and therefore a cycle forms where you're on the same drug medication for 20 or 30 years. Even if it gets to the point where you don't need it anymore, the withdrawals from coming off of it are so horrendous that you're like, I can't do this. So, Big Pharma, props. Thanks a lot, guys. I will admit, though, that the fluvoxamine helps my obsessive-compulsive disorder a great deal. So, props on that. They've done a lot of amazing, profound things that have been life-changing for many people, but not for me. I'm medication resistant, so I've been on like 16 plus different meds. And the problem with me is I'm very sensitive, so I get addicted, like chemically addicted to them, my body. So when they inevitably, up until over the past 16, 17 years, when they fail, they'll maybe work for a few weeks and then stop. Or they'll have really messed up side effects and I'll have to come off abruptly. Withdrawals. You get dope. I get dope sick. They call me a 2%er. That's what one shrink said. I explained all this to him. He's like, you're a 2%er. Wasn't sure what he meant by that, but apparently, it's my assumption, whenever they do drug trials, 2% of every controlled study, 2% of that population being studied who is on the med being studied, 2% experience, I don't know the technical term, extreme withdrawal syndrome or whatever. Like 2%, it's like really hard for them to get off the drug, and it's very difficult for them to get off the drug. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. So, freaking great. I can't even experiment with the medications because I get on one and then it fails and I have to come off of it. And then I spend like 6 months dope sick. Like I just came off heroin or something. I'm dope sick as shit for like 6 months. And it's like, I'm not going to try another medication. That was the 16th one. And that was the 4th time that I had withdrawals that were really extreme. One time I had to be hospitalized. Yep. One time I had to go to the emergency room and be hospitalized from coming off of a medication. I had an abrupt, acute side effect reaction, and I had to come off of it abruptly. Put my ass in the hospital. I didn't sleep or eat for 11 days. Nonstop diarrhea, throwing up, retching. It gave me irritable bowel syndrome, a stress-induced version of it. If I get really nervous, I'll get the shits. I never got that before, and I've always been very nervous. It wasn't until then, 2012, when I came off of that one medication. The withdrawals introduced a new type of anxiety that I'm well familiar and well versed in anxiety and have been for a long time. This was a new type of anxiety that I've never experienced before. It might be just as bad as coming off of heroin, maybe even worse in some ways. I don't know. 11 days, no food, no sleep, constant diarrhea. And the feeling's the worst. I can't describe the feeling. It's like when people say you can't describe tripping to somebody who has never tripped. It's similar to that. You can't describe what that dope sick feeling is to somebody who's never been dope sick. But anybody who's used street drugs knows the feeling. It's that under your skin feeling where you just have to keep moving. So it's like you're sitting there and you're just moving. You have to. You're rocking back and forth. You have to because you're literally jumping out of your skin. When people use that term, I would always be like, okay, I have a general idea. Nah. Then I went through it for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And yeah, jumping out of your skin, that's a bad feeling to have. So why did I get off on this tangent? Wait, I've been out here for 23 minutes. So I've gotten my sun exposure. And I didn't even wear my sunglasses. Check these out. So, and this is Japanese, if you watch the military history channel, they have a lot of documentaries from World War II, a lot of which cover the Pacific campaign, and you see a lot of combat footage of shirtless Japanese dudes, manning these artillery batteries and, throwing shells in, and then they're boom, and they throw another one, and boom, and they're all shirtless, but they're wearing these hats, these little neck flap hats. I got it because that's what I was getting into. Wow. So all of that I just exposed, all the stuff I just told you was from my hair gets blonde when I'm in the sun, and the reason that I can't take advantage of that right now is because I have this tree on top of me, and it drops stuff, little bugs and stuff. It could drop out of it, and if you're not really careful, they'll get in your hair and you won't even know it. So, I'm right at 10 minutes, so I'm gonna cut out. So Joe Durant House out, quarantine, coronavirus, whatever. It's almost, I don't know. Just be careful, everyone. Don't be freaking idiots. Whenever you go out, wear a mask. If not for your own health, and for the health of others. All right, bud.